I was putting fucking the Comedy Store on my resume, and I was prepared to, like, if I saw those guys on the first fucking night and there was just an open mic, who was I going to see in the future? So I prepared for that, but I also did something that a lot of people don't do. Even in 98 and 97, I was like, listen, one thing I am going to do is I'm not talking to these motherfuckers. Like, I'm not talking to these big-time comics unless they talk to me. And that's how I really handled that situation. So if you're a young comic or whatever, you know what? You want to get to a comic? Don't go up to him and tell him he's your favorite comic and blah, blah, blah. Go on the stage when you know that he's watching you and blow it the fuck up. Trust me, I see any comic blow up a fucking stage at any level, at any room I was in, and you ask around. I would go up to a comic and say, it was a very funny fucking set. You know, a little encouragement never fucking killed anybody. You know, sometime now in today's world, I used to always go up to a woman and go, hey man, that was a great set. You were very funny, whatever. Now it's a different era. You can't do that. But there was a time, you know, Tammy Pascatelli was here this weekend. She was performing at Uncle Vinny's down in Point Pleasant. I saw she was coming to town, and I called her like Wednesday night, and I go, hey, I don't know if you got a hotel yet. I have an extra room here. My wife, you know, my wife knows Tammy from the Comedy Store. We were all there in 98, 99, busting our fucking humps. Even longer. Tammy was there for a few years after. I mean, yeah, she was tight with Mitzi. You know, Tammy was one of the guys. You know, me, her, Rogan. I still remember us going to fucking eat at Pink Dot after our shows. Just 10 of us would walk to Pink Dot. It was a great time. Ari, Duncan, you know. So I called her Wednesday night. I go, Tammy, I know you're coming to town. If you don't need to get a hotel, you know, you might as well save $200, $300. Just stay here. We got plenty of fucking room. She was like, no, I'm staying at my sister-in-law's, but I love that you reached out, and I love to see you. So, you know what, man? I was thinking about Saturdays in a hotel room. I don't know what you fucking think a comic does on a Saturday in a hotel room. You know, for me, at first, I would always be hungover from the night before, you know, and I would get up, eat, and then go on search for the coke for that night. That's when I was a feature act, and I was on the road, and I was opening for Rogan. I didn't give a fuck about my career. But once you become a headliner, you know, you take your days, you know, your days a little bit more seriously, but there's no other way to say this. Those Saturdays in a hotel room, it fucking sucks. Especially when you're in a comedy club, because you're in that room. You got that Thursday night. Friday, you maybe went to the gym, maybe went to lunch, maybe did a little radio, so at least you did something. Friday night, you go back to your hotel room. Saturday, there's no radio. There's not much of fucking anything. If you're a headliner, you get up, maybe eat breakfast at the hotel, maybe go somewhere for breakfast to get out and walk around, maybe do a little workout at the gym. I always thought, I looked at my bag about 2 months ago. I had to go in there to see if I had rolling papers. One night, I got rolling papers in my bag, and I had them in my bag. I was prepared for everything when I was on the road, like everything. My suitcase had iBuds in it, fucking backup sleep apnea mask shit, rolling papers. I had vitamins on the road, Band-Aids, fucking if you cut yourself shaving, that stick you fucking paint yourself with. I had that shit on the road, nail clippers. There was a bag in my suitcase that had everything in that motherfucker. So I would be prepared if I went on the road. You know, backup computer stuff, backup chargers, you know, aspirins. I went through it, and I'm like, wow, I really had this down when I fucking, you know, when I was traveling. I had it down to a fucking science. I mean, things happen that you don't have control over, but I always brought swim trunks with me just in case. The hotel had a heated pool or a steam bath. I was always one step ahead of that motherfucker. And that's what, you know, 30 fucking years, Joey, you're prepared. And I didn't listen. By no way that I fucking write the book. I copied it from Doug Stanhope. I saw Doug's fucking travel car before I got into comedy. He stayed at my house in Boulder, maybe 1993, 92. He stayed as a feature act, and then he came back like 2 years later as a headliner, and he stayed at my house. And I remember walking down to his car with him and looking at this car going, wow, This guy had everything in his fucking car. Books, a suit, a steam bat, everything was in that trunk, fucking neatly put in there. And that's, you got to be efficient when you're on the road. And when I had my fucking road car, forget it, I did the same thing. Frisbees, basketballs, footballs, a skateboard. Have you ever seen me on a skateboard? No. But you might as well bring one. You don't know who you're going to meet on the fucking road. I had everything in that fucking trunk. And I was fucking prepared. So what I'm saying is, on Saturdays, a comic just gets bored. So I said, do you want to come over and eat? So we hooked up. My daughter had a play date, so we took care of that. And then she came over, and me and my wife and Tammy just went and got a bite to eat and just talked about old times and, just talked about what was going on and how the store was back then. And she brought it up. We were talking about all the people that it was really different. Like, I still remember having conversations with, he passed away, he used to have a show on HBO, and he used to date Sarah Silverman. I forget what the fucking great guy, Gary Shandling. Like, Gary Shandling. I remember being in jail and watching the Gary Shandling show on HBO. I still remember being in Boulder County fucking jail, waiting to get bailed out, and on a Thursday night, because in Boulder County Jail back then, in 1987, Boulder County Jail was a fucking paradise. Listen, people in Boulder County Jail got arrested to go to Boulder County Jail. If you were tapped out, you were having some problems at home with your parents and shit like that, you went out, you broke a window, you called somebody a cocksucker or a racial slur, and they give you 60 days in Boulder County. And I saw those guys. They would walk in there like they were going to the fucking Playboy mansion, because they knew they were going to get cigarettes. You got free cigarettes at Boulder County Jail. I'm not talking about Marlboro Lights. They gave you a bugler, and they gave hey, listen, when things are bad, bugler works. How do I know? Because I smoked that shit inside a couple times with a little piece of fucking, they would put hash in it in Boulder. You take 2 hits by the kitchen. Woo! That bugler gets you fucked up, and it gives you bad fucking breath, and your teeth decay quickly. You understand me? I'm not a dentist. I'm not fucking, But I used to hit that fucking bugler. They give you packs of bugler. And I would get the bugler and trade it for fucking Kool-Aid. Uncle Joey, dog. I had the fucking bugler combination and the milk. A lot of bodybuilders in there at county jail, and they want their milk to make protein shakes. I swear to God, fucking hilarious. So